There we are. Good morning, Dwight Grotewold.
Good morning, David Moore.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are
very
you?
good. Today's September the 4th, 2012. Can you imagine it's already September?
I can't imagine 2012.
Oh, that's probably also true. Well, it's been a long time since June 1st of 1988 when you joined the Sun Lakes Rotary Club. 24 years or so? Wow.
Not only that, but I belonged to Rotary in 1968.
Another 20 years. Wow.
Another 20 years in addition.
So as a Rotarian for almost 40 years, it certainly is a way of life for you, isn't it?
It's the only way as far as I'm concerned.
Well, let's talk about it. All right?
Okay.
All right. Very good. Very good. Well, as a question, can you please discuss on how you became a Sun Lakes Rotarian? And I guess we know how long you've been in Sun Lakes Rotary. And tell us about that. How did you become one?
Well, it's pretty simple, actually.
Okay.
I have to back up a little bit.
Please do.
In 1968, a New York life insurance salesman came into my office and said, "I'd like to take you to a Rotary Club meeting." And I said, "What's Rotary Club?" I grew up in a little town of 380 people in Iowa. There were no service clubs there whatsoever. And when he came up and said, "Want to take me to Rotary?" I said, "Well, tell me about it." And he said, "A great club." And he described it. We went. And I thought that was a natural fit from the very beginning.
In 1968.
1968. And I continued to be very involved back there. I became president of my club with 225 members and loved every moment of it. And served on the board of directors as everyone has to do. And then I had an opportunity to take early retirement, and I did, and went to Europe and worked over there in the field of education again. My career was at the University of Colorado. I was in charge. They call me the gateway person because of the fact that I was the guy that said yes, you could be admitted to the university as an undergraduate student, transfer student, or a freshman student. And so it really gave me a chance to become very involved in the community and in the field of education. And when I moved to Europe, I worked in the field of education there. So that's really has been my career. I taught school for a short period of time and decided that administration was more forte than it was to be in the classroom. And that's how I became involved with Rotary. So when I came to Sun Lakes, the first thing I looked for was a Rotary Club. And I met Wayne Johnson and some others and became one of the very first members. And I think that Wayne and I may be the last two that started together in the club. And that's how it all began. It was just a natural sequence of events.
Isn't that amazing? The club, as it is, provides some great opportunities for service. Can you discuss how you've been able to meet the challenges of life and still be involved in Sun Lakes Rotary projects?
There's no question. The two of them go together as far as I'm concerned. When you have been given a lot, you're expected to return and something. And that has been my theory all the way along. I've had my ups and downs, and things were pretty tough along the way when I lost my wife at 46 years of age. But I've gained so much in other ways that I'm delighted to have the chance to pay it back. And ironically, the Rotary International has been involved in my life greatly, and it had a very pronounced effect on me because I was asked to go on the Semester C program, which is a program that takes about 800 college and university students around the world, stopping in various sports, studying college level courses as we go. And two Rotarians that started that program in California following World War II. They said, we need to do something to give people an opportunity to get together.
Right.
And ironically, I went on that trip. I turned it down twice, then took my 2 sons, and lo and behold, I found that they had 39 adult passengers on board too. And that's where I met my current wife. So I owe Rotary International a lot.
I see. All right. I never knew that story. Now it's on here for perpetuity. That's wonderful. What an amazing event. What activities, Dwight, have you been involved in over the years, and why did you choose these?
Well, it's pretty simple, because Rotary International emphasizes working with youth. And that's been my field all of my life. Mm-hmm. I started teaching school. First of all, I was in the management program with Bell Telephone, and found that didn't fit me well at all. Because I wanted to have involvement with young people. And so I went in the field of education, spent my entire career doing that. And so consequently, it was just a very natural thing for me to try and get involved with things with youth.
In Rotary.
And in Rotary. And so I have concentrated on that. I take pride in the fact that they call us the Education Club. Mm-hmm. And I had the opportunity to introduce a lot of different things in our club.
Did you start the dictionary project or be a part of that?
That's just one of the things I've done. But if it's okay, I'll list some of them.
Please do. I think that's important.
I became involved in the Rotary Youth Exchange Program, which allows young people to go and study in another country. Mm-hmm. And I spent about 12 years involved with that program, and am still involved in it.
At the district level and here at the club level?
Both. Mm-hmm. Both levels. And then I formed the Teacher of the Month program here for the Sun Lakes Club. And that all came because I was giving a talk as a assistant district governor at a club, and they brought in a teacher and a principal, and I said, this would be a natural fit for our club. Sure. So I came back, wrote up a program for it, and got that started. Then I helped found 2 Interact clubs, one at Chandler High School and one at Hamilton High School. We eventually spun the one off at Chandler High School, and the other one's still going. Then I set up the scholarship program for students at Hamilton High School, and which is still going. I became involved in the program that allowed young people to go to Wisconsin during the summer to the university campus up there. And I've been involved in the Ambassadorial Scholars Program, which is one that is a terrific program giving young people who have a bachelor's degree generally $25,000 a year to go and study in another country.
Is that what it is today? Is $25,000?
Right now they put it on hiatus, but that's what it has been. Then I also was very involved in the program that allowed young people in the field of business, especially, to go and spend a month in another country as a group study exchange program. That's been a great program in my estimation. And then I also formed the Dictionary Project program, which I picked up again. I'm a great one for looking to see what other people are doing.
Right.
And then try and capitalize on it. I was at Logan, Utah, and talked with the former president there and said, what things do you have going that are exciting? He said, come to my office. I went to his office, he handed me a dictionary, and he said, look at this and then read about this. So I became involved with that because it's a program that gives dictionaries free of charge to 3rd grade students. And we have, through our club alone, we've given out 25,000 of those dictionaries. And we're just in the process right now. In October, we'll be going out to the schools and personally handling them out. Gets our members really involved, which is great.
And each time we do this, Dwight, it's a whole new set of 3rd graders, isn't it?
Whole new set of 3rd graders. And believe it or not, I've had some students that have come up to me and said, you know, I've had this dictionary for 7 or 8 years, and I still use it. One young lady said, I really shine in the classroom because I keep my dictionary by my bed and I read every night. If I don't understand a word, she said, I look it up so I can understand it and speak it properly. And she said, the other kids think I'm really smart, but she said, actually, the dictionaries help me. Then another program I just want to mention is the program that allows Rotarians to go to other countries around the world and live with Rotarians. And I'm on the process now of organizing our 14th one. And
just for here, our Sun Lakes Club.
Our own Sun Lakes Rotarians. But it's an educational program.
True.
Because a lot of these people have never lived or worked in another country. And they get exposed to what's going on there. And nearly every time we come back with an international project. And the one we're working on right now is in New Zealand.
This is for February 2013, I guess, is that when it's going?
That's right. That's right. We'll be taking just a total of 12 over there. But it's, I personally think it's one of the highlights of the club. It has exposed a lot of our Rotarians to the international aspect of Rotary, which normally, we sit here and we look at it and it says in the Rotarian magazine, we're doing things internationally.
Right.
But when you get out there and you see what others are doing and what their needs are, it changes everything.
In the years that you've done this, how many of those have you participated in as far as been a person going to and coming back? I know you told us earlier at the club last week that you're not able to go this time, but
I think I've gone on 12 of them.
And these are all homestays. That's how this works.
They're all homestays. When you get there, you have the opportunity to live with Rotarians, and they plan everything out for you. And this one going to New Zealand is one I really wish I could go on because it's going to be great. They have set it up that we'll be in 5 different homes for 3 days at a time. And they plan everything for you while you're there. Then they will, hopefully, the New Zealanders will come back here and we'll do the same thing for them here. That's been a wonderful experience because our Rotarians have really pitched in. They love the program when they come here because you get the entire club involved, and it's a great program.
I think it's amazing. It's wonderful. I'm just in awe of the words and the things that you've done, and so I guess the next question is, boy, I know you were an officer, and what offices have you held and served in during your some 20-some years in Rotary? 24.
Well, first of all, I was president of my club in Boulder, which had 225 members, and that was a challenge, but so good. And a highlight of my life, really, as far as being in an administrative position, because I found so many Rotarians as a whole are so capable, and it was a piece of cake for me because when you made an assignment in that club, never had to worry. They just carried it out.
Do you want to get things done? Ask a Rotarian?
Yep, that's exactly right. And while here, I've been on the board of directors in the Sun Lakes Club a number of different times, and I've served on the district level as the assistant district governor, and just been totally involved all the way along.
It's amazing. So you've been a director, and while you were a director, did any of these wonderful events that you've started, did that come while you were a director of the club, or before or after?
Well, a combination of both.
I see. Okay.
I'm not one to stand on a formality. If I get an idea and I can write it up and take it to the board of directors and get them to consider it and pass it, and they do 90% of the time. That's one of the things that we really, I wish we could stress more within Rotary, and especially in our Rotary Club, is for people to take the initiative and start programs that really mean something to them. And all these things in the field of education have meant a lot to me. I've benefited so much. I went to a very small high school, and the curriculum, quite frankly, was lacking, and
didn't show up in your later life, Dwight.
Well, I've been lucky. Well, one of the things that happened, I always have to kind of chuckle about, is the fact that my ambition is to go to Annapolis, and it had been all of my life. And the education I received was, I'd say, just fair in that high school. But I decided I wanted to go. I had no political connections. So what I had to do was take the competitive examination against anyone that wanted to take the exam. And I wrote to all my congressmen and said, may I submit my scores to you? Every one of them turned me down. And so I said, well, what do you do? And I talked with a man who was involved, and he said, put their names down anyway. And so I did when I filled out the papers, and ended up by the guys that turned me down. One gave me a first alternate to West Point, and the other was a principal to Annapolis. However, unfortunately, I took my physical exam and found that I was what they call color deficient, and could not be admitted. But however, the United States Infantry was glad to have me, whether I could distinguish those colors or not. So at the end of World War II, I went into the infantry and spent time there.
Oh my! As of how old are you now? As of today, say.
I'm 85.
85.
And am I supposed to retire at that age? No way.
No.
My wife would not know what to do if I were, not involved, because I love Rotary. I love what Rotary stands for. I love what Rotary can do and does.
That's amazing. So the next question I have is, and I think you've answered it a number of times in this discussion, is as a Rotarian, how would you describe the club in your own words?
Describe our Sun
Lakes Rotary Club. I'm going to step back and get wow, there's the whole picture there. It is Sun Lakes Rotary Club. There you go.
I'd say that it's one of the most capable clubs I've ever been involved with. And I've always tried to attend a lot of different Rotary meetings around the world as I've traveled. And this club has some people that are so qualified that is absolutely amazing. And it's a great club for being willing to become involved. So I would say this is one of the better, I think this is one of the better Rotary clubs as far as our District 5510 is concerned.
So when you enter the Rotary Club meeting room, what are your feelings?
They're great.
Are they?
They're great. I walk in and I see friends, and it is so great to have a cup of coffee with them and visit and find out how they're doing, and to be able to share with them some of the things that are going on in the community and in our life. And I think this is an exceptional club.
I can't agree with you more. What continues to attract you to this club?
Exactly what I mentioned then is their involvement here. And I've told my wife a number of times, it's just absolutely amazing. When you sit down next to somebody like David Mork, you say, David, what do you do in your career? And he tells me, and I come home and I say, Lois, you're not going to believe the things that David Mork has done and what he's doing now.
And others,
And this is the way it is with practically every Rotarian you sit next to here. If you ask them what they've done, and they'll tell you, well, I just sat this morning next to John Askew. This guy is fantastic, the things that he has done in his career.
Yes.
And that attracts me.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell prospective members and those who will see this tape what it is that they should do to maintain their club membership in the future?
It is one word: involvement. If they will become involved, they'll love Rotary. If they sit on the periphery, It's like every organization, if you become involved with it, it gets into your system. And when you realize what you do through an organization like Rotary and the effect it can have on others, it makes it all worthwhile.
Participate, participate, participate. Huh? Wow. True. So, do you have any thoughts as a last part of what you would like your legacy to be? I mean, you've left a legacy for us, Dwight, number one. With all the things you mentioned, with the dictionary project and this club exchange and the youth exchange and the educational facilities, the question you've answered more than once. But as in your mind, in your thoughts, what would you like your legacy to be to those who come into the Sun Lakes Rotary, say 10 years from now?
What I'd like would be for one of my fellow Rotarians today say, we had a guy in here who was very educationally oriented, that he realized that one of the primary goals of Rotary International was to become involved with youth. And he spent his time coming up with programs that got our club involved in a lot of different programs in the field of education. And that we're known as the Education Club, and he was one of the persons that was responsible for doing it.
Gee, Dwight, I don't know what more you could say. That's a legacy that will be left not only while you're here and while it's, and hopefully for many years this club will continue to participate in the legacies that you've begun. Any final thoughts?
Thank you. I can only say that Rotary has been a privilege for me. It has changed my life in a lot of different ways. And one with my current wife, which I described earlier.
A lovely lady, Lois.
Meeting her in a program that Rotary International had started. But it's been a privilege to be able to be involved with some wonderful people. Now, there are a lot of service clubs that are good, but to me, Rotary is perhaps one of the best ones. And to become a Rotarian is perhaps in a lot of ways more than I ever could have hoped for.
Well, thank you very much, Dwight.
You're welcome, and thank you for giving me a chance to talk.
Okay.